Listen, I've been in a mood the last few days. A mood of moods. And where to even start? When you feel unlike yourself, like we all have this baseline of how we feel neutral, fine, not necessarily good, not necessarily bad, like good enough, like just normal baseline. And then sometimes you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, as the saying goes, or sometimes not even first thing in the morning. Sometimes it just hits you like a ton of bricks in the middle of the day or 3/4 into the day. Nothing even happened. You're just existing, and all of a sudden you in a funk, big funk. So it's interesting because it makes you wonder, what the fuck is going on? What happened? Like, we all want to attribute our shift in feeling to something. So our brain always wants concrete footing, solid ground to stand on. We don't like not knowing why something is occurring. And so I want to share my process with you for navigating through a funk, a mood. It's interesting. It's very nuanced. So this isn't going to be like step 1, step 2, step 3. It does take some reflection, but I'm hoping some of these reflections that I share with you here today will help you, because inevitably through your time here on planet Earth, you will find yourself in this space at some point, a lot throughout your lifetime. Anyway, so especially as it pertains to women, menstruation is a real thing in terms of hormones affecting you. So fellas, don't hop off. You have women that you care about in your life, significant others, sisters, mothers, aunts, friends. Just stick with it and try to understand. Obviously, it's not always going to be able to be assigned to your time of the month, but a lot of the time it is. We all have like one really solid week out of the whole month, and then there's the week before menstruation, the week of menstruation, and then the week after. And it's just like, ugh. But especially when you have an identity, such as myself, I'll use as an example, obviously, because this is from my firsthand experience. I identify as a high performer. I teach this shit. Like, I know how to turn the focus on when it counts the most and get shit done. I pride myself on that. However, I always say human first, student second, teacher third. And so I am just as susceptible to feeling unlike myself, feeling like I've squandered a day here and there. I didn't knock it out of the park like I know I can. It happens. And it is challenging to give yourself grace and patience, because you want to transition out of it as fast as possible. Like, it doesn't feel great to be in this murky, moody, funky place where you're like, this ain't me. This doesn't feel like myself. And so this week, because I'm still in a mood, it's not as bad as it was a couple days ago, but to really continuously practice introspection and be okay, whatever that means to you, in this weird limbo of not knowing, because nothing specific happened. There's no event that you can necessarily assign these weird feelings to. And just to find an acceptance, even if we may not like it, even if we may not prefer it, to find an acceptance and an understanding that these occasionally fluctuating, weird emotional states and mental states, they just happen. Even to people who don't struggle with mental health issues. Obviously, this is going to shift from person to person. for myself, I am a trained, happy-go-lucky person. I've experienced a lot of shit in my life, and I choose to have a glass is over half full, overflowing full outlook as best as I can most of the time, not in a toxic positivity way. I hate that term anyway. Believe me, I feel the feelings, and it's not even a theory. I just know this to be true because I don't live a lukewarm existence, meaning I don't numb myself. I don't shy away from feelings. I allow myself to experience the fucking depths of it all. I know what it's like to feel despair, depression, hollow, like a shell of yourself. I literally believe I know what it feels like to be dying. More on that in another video. But because I've taken myself to some very dark places that were to do with not just like a general depression, but they were due to difficult life circumstances at the time, years ago. And so because I allowed myself, I think my camera moved a little bit. Oh my God, I have a tripod on my steering wheel. Hold on. Okay, that'll do. Because I've taken myself there to those very deep, dark, and personal, painful places, I know what it's like to be on the other side when things are good, when they're content, when they're peaceful, when there's ease, where there's joy and connection and you feel whole again. And so because I allow myself to feel the full spectrum of emotion, I can reach the heights of happiness because I know the depths of despair. And if you don't allow yourself to swing too far to either end of the pendulum, you won't be able to feel fully, really feel. And so when I find myself in these moods, it's weird because you can logically tell yourself things that will make you feel better, like work towards something meaningful, get some exercise, go to the gym, maybe go to the studio, take a class, or take a walk outside, get some fresh air, immerse yourself in nature, be by the water, be in the mountains, be by the trees, be in the sun, in the rain, call a friend, hang out with somebody. And then you experience this resistance to it where you know you're not feeling great just wallowing by yourself, but you can't at the same time bring yourself to do anything else, but just kind of like be in the mud. And there will come a point, depending how long this has been going on, the longer the days go on, where you eventually have this like moment out of the murky water where you come up for air for a second and you're like, okay, I'm mustering enough energy to like do this or do that, something that will alleviate this weight that I'm experiencing now. And so when you're on your period as well, to circle back to this, little bit of a tangent here, but stick with me. It's weird because every cycle can affect the same person differently. Like mine changes month to month. And I met up with a good friend yesterday for a good girl vent session, bless. And she empathized and said that she experiences the same thing, which also power in numbers. When people share their story, it gives credence to the way that we feel, which can feel isolating at times, but to know that other people are going through a similar thing, like it does pacify the situation a fair bit. So talk about it, y'all. But she also said that she was experiencing during her last cycle, like basically this sense of existentialism where she's questioning if living in Vancouver is like the right move to her, because originally she's from abroad, and wondering about her place at her work. Like, does her work even matter? And she's like a boss bitch. Like, she knows what she's doing and she's in a leadership role in her workspace. So like she knows what's up. And I was saying that I had literally the same thoughts a couple days ago where I was kind of reflecting on where I'm at in life, the things that I'm doing in terms of my personal and professional goals. And I'm just like, I had this moment where I'm like, do I have any skills at all between like teaching yoga and working in hospitality? Do I have any applicable skills anywhere else in the workforce in the world? And for a minute, I was like really having a reckoning with myself in spite of all that I've achieved being a high performance coach. I've created 2 online courses. I know what delayed gratification is. The most recent one that I built took me 4 years, Zen High Performance Method. Check it out in the link in the description. Plug. But I'm really fucking proud. And the testimonials that I've received from my students, helping them heal and reinvent themselves through the power of their subconscious mind, processes that I took myself and have been teaching, learning, practicing for 11 years now. And I'm wondering if I've got any fucking skills. Like, obviously I do. Obviously my friend does. I was at my studio just yesterday talking to one of the other girls there, and she is coming up to her 10-year anniversary being an owner of a construction company. Like, girl boss, let's go. 10 years. It's a huge accomplishment for anybody in any field. And she was saying how she feels like she should be farther along as well when I was, hyping her up, saying how amazing that is, how I was proud of her, like huge milestone to celebrate. And it goes to show that, dare I say, all of us, is there a person on the face of the planet who doesn't feel like they should be farther along than they already are? I think we all have those moments. But keep in mind, the goalposts are always moving. Everything that we've achieved now, that we have now, were once upon a time distant dreams. And how easily we can lose sight of that because there's always the next and the next and the next. And so, to bring that tangent back to that original query, what do we do when we're in a big old funk? Well, it's nuanced because the depth and the intensity and the duration of this mood is going to, again, vary from you to me, to my friend, to the girl at the studio, and to everyone else. But introspection, breathe, try not to fight it. Try to let go of needing to assign this state to any one particular thing. And because I'd been there before, like, this will happen to me, I don't know, a couple times a year, not frequently. But when it does come about, I don't fucking like it. I feel sad. I feel lonely. I feel like I'm not measuring up to whose standards? My own, first and foremost. But the brain is a trickster. It plays tricks on us. And so take care to not self-reject through the stories that your mind creates. Even in a healthy mind, even in a usually productive mind and an optimistic mind, the brain can be pesky, very sneaky. And so talk to someone you trust, you love, you care about, hang with a friend, have a session. If for whatever reason that's not an option, journal. It's very cathartic. There's a saying that thinking creates dots, writing connects them. And so it helps to process what is going on in this, quagmire of ruminating upstairs. And trust that this too shall pass. Go for simple walks. Indulge in the simple pleasures like your favorite cozy beverage. Make yourself nourishing food to eat. And lean in to the difficult feelings without necessarily having to rationalize them. That's the most difficult part, I feel. And so as much as I would love to wrap this up succinctly in a neat little bow as step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this type of conversation, like, that's just not it. Life is a little messy sometimes. But I hope that there was some value, some light switch that went off in sharing these reflections. And also, as my friend said, who I got together with the other day, she's like, you know, especially for the girls, like, communicate. If you know you in a mood because of your period, tell your people. It doesn't just have to be the men in your life, although I'm sure they'll appreciate it. But you can also tell your girlfriends, just being like, hey man, this is what I told her right when we got together. I'm like, yo, I'm in a mood. And she's like, we'll get you something. Dessert, pastry, coffee, let's go. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness for good friends. And I also hugged her dog. Yeah, my fur nephew. So anyhow, just breathe, stay in it. This too shall pass. Let me know if you have anything you'd like to add to this video, some helpful tools, or even just ways of processing that you guide yourself through to get yourself out of the mood. Now that I'm feeling more on the other side today, I felt called to make this video from my car. Seems to be the YouTube thing to do. I didn't feel like making the setup in my house today. So let me know what you think of this raw style of video. I'm here for it. Low editing. We'll see. Anyways, signing off. Catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.